There's been a lot of excitement this week in Europe around the Windows Phone 7
Seven, yes.
platform. In fact, I attended last week a startup competition in Paris with Steve Ballmer. 250 French developers competed to be chosen as the most exciting app. Microsoft had a kind of rough time in Europe for a while. Court cases with the Commission, looked upon with a bit of skepticism by Europeans as the big American giant. At the same time, there's all this cachet around the Apple iPhone. How do you explain all this enthusiasm on the part of European developers for the Windows 7 platform?
Well, I think it's a good point. You can certainly, I'm be one of the first to say, like, I don't think I'm in the same company I was in 10 years ago. I wasn't here 10 years ago, but people who were here. So I think there's really a lot of changes and a lot of things that have moved in the industry and that have moved in our company. Not just this particular platform, but look at Windows 7 and look at the hype that's gone on around that. Look at what's happening in the browser space, all that. And then you come to Windows Phone. So you really see a different type of products coming out of our company, and you see this enthusiasm that you talk about. So how do I explain it? I think I explain it in that this phone market's kind of saturated with a lot of look-alike stuff. And the way that people access that and the way they use it all sort of, again, really fast has become very similar. There become a lot of Me Too products out there. And here comes Windows Phone 7, and you take a look at it, and it's not like anything else that's in the market, and it has all these sort of inconvenient and easy things, and it's all about the user. So it's not about maintaining a company's particular belief of the way the world should work as much as it's about making a phone that just works for a person. And people are falling in love with that idea, and the developers are getting excited about what they can make for it.
Okay. Now, what about the advantages that this platform offers for businesses? Now, for example, in France, I talked with Vente Privée, which is one of the most successful startups in France,
Okay.
and they had launched their service on the iPhone back in June, but they also are launching on Windows 7. And what they made a point of saying to me was, hey, you know what? We had to hire outside guys, pay like 100,000 K to develop something on the iPhone. And guess what? Since we use Microsoft in our offices, our own IT guys could do this, and they could do it really rapidly, and it didn't cost us a lot of money to do it as well. So, is that working to your advantage as well?
I think so. I think that we find we have a platform, and to a certain degree, universally, a lot of the skills that you invest in to learn that platform apply across the different things that you might see, and that might you might even stretch that to say Windows and phone and even gaming and things like that. So there's a lot of like that .NET stuff that lives out there, and the languages that are being used like C# that are advantageous, and people who get to know that stuff, they get to like you said, they can do that very fast. I think that's one of the advantages. I think the other advantage is that we've been connected to companies for a very, very long time, not just the consumer space. So as we rebuild our consumer muscles in this space, you find our commercial muscles are really paying off. So it's a lot of connections, meaning technical understanding, what has to be, what has to work, what's involved, the security. It's the kind of stuff that's not so exciting, but really pays off for the consumer and for the companies in the end.
Now, another advantage I think that appeals to developers is the fact that they can do it once and it goes across different platforms.
Right.
The winner of the competition in Paris was a gaming company, and they said, hey, we do it one time, it works on the Xbox, it works on the PC, it works on the mobile, no brainer.
Right.
So I think that works to your advantage as well.
I think so. There's a little tweaking so that the developers out there know. It's not like you just go, hey, copy paste. I mean, there's definitely there's adjustments that you have to make, but it is truth about how you work the platform.
Now, Microsoft is used to, being a giant in it, but it's the underdog in the mobile space. So, in fact, Nomura Securities is projecting that even by 2011, 2012, it'll still be a distant five. So, how does that play out in the company? I mean, does that just energize you?
You've reached the threshold of my expertise in the mobile space.
Okay.
So that type of prediction I just wouldn't make.
Okay. Now, when we get back to the developer community in Europe, how many companies have joined the BizSpark program in Europe?
In Europe, about 7,000 now. which is quite, when you think about,
In the last how many months?
I'd say probably since its inception in Europe, since at that time. So there's
Couple
about,
years.
yeah, 7,000, and I think worldwide there's 35,000, and then there's a series of network partners who are people who are sort of on point to help develop this and make the connection between people and money and those types of things. I think there's about 2,500 worldwide on that now. So you've seen this remarkable growth of this program, probably because it's fitting a niche in the market that's just really needed. I see this explosion of startup companies, right? I see it just, I think we're in another boom for startups, and it's a great time to be out there, and there's money to be had if you're smart. I'm a veteran. Before I came to Microsoft, 5 startups. That's all I ever did before I came to Microsoft, just 5 or 6 years ago. So like I look on this with quite prideful, gleaming eyes. I'm like, this is an incredible time and opportunity to go in and think about starting a company.
All right, now you just moved from the U.S. to Europe.
I did.
You're in the Netherlands.
Yep.
You arrived over the summer,
Yes.
right? Okay, so, what's your view of the European market, and what do you hope to achieve here?
Well, I think there's 2 things. I think the European market, for startups, let's keep it in that context, has this incredible opportunity, meaning there is great education systems, there's money to be found, there are great ideas that are out there, and there's even government programs that can support, when the situation is correct. And yet, it always seems to play this like second fiddle or third fiddle or fourth sometimes to like the U.S. and Silicon Valley. So if you ask me what I want to accomplish, former startup guy working in a big company, I want to change the game. I want to come in and make a big difference for these companies. I want Microsoft to sort of stand up to 3 things. 1, push the industry. Let's get it moving. Let's generate opportunity bigger than we ever have before. 2, create technology breakthroughs. Let's find things that just surprise the world, and let's have it come from here. And then last but not least, I want to find Microsoft's rightful place in how that happens. Get us an appropriate role to make that happen. But I want to see it happen in that order and not the other order. It's got to move first, and we want to be a part of that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.